What can the business community do to better engage with this somewhat dysfunctional political system you've been describing?
Quit writing checks to everybody. The investments you've made in politics from the Democrat side and the Republican side by asking nothing in return is a foolish investment, because you would never do that in your business world or your private life. Why don't you do this? Tell a politician when they come to you, say, listen, I'm sorry, I don't give checks. I don't give a donation or a contribution to any politician, but I'm willing to make an investment. What should I expect from you? What are you going to do? What have you done in your political life? And what will you do if this is your first time? Tell me so I can make a decision on whether I want to invest in you, because I can expect something in return.
Yes, the senator said that. So when you hear people like me or Mike and others who let you know, make it plain, these folks want something for their money. This is not just charity. I don't know what the senator is talking about, but every time they donate, I don't know one donor of that magnitude who is not expecting something from the politician when they donate. But you heard Senator Joe Manchin make it very clear. Tell them, you making an investment, what can I expect? We need to start treating our votes like that. It's a transaction, it's transactional. That means we got to get something for the vote. Instead of, Lord, I'm gonna keep it PG. Mike, go ahead, jump in right now.
I'll try to keep it PG too. It's gonna be tough. No, it's difficult. It's so embarrassing. I can't believe that he would admit that. We all know this. So it's not like he's saying anything surprising, but just the fact that he would admit that and be so brazen is genuinely astonishing to me. And it reminds me of, I don't know if many people have been following the Oregon governor's race. This is my state, so I've been following it very closely. So we have an independent candidate who said something kind of similar to Joe Manchin here. And so she basically is viable as a third-party independent candidate, specifically because the Nike co-owner, Phil Knight, decided to write her a check for $2 million. So I've been voting for independent progressive governor candidates for years in Oregon. This is the first time one has polled over 10%. And what she said at the debate is basically the same thing. She said, listen, I would keep all of the CEOs in Oregon on speed dial, and I would constantly call them and check in on them just so that way I can ask them how I can service them. I'm paraphrasing, but there are so many politicians like Betsy Johnson, like Joe Manchin, who they actually want to be puppets. It's insane to me how they just admit this and they feel like they can say this and nobody's gonna hear it. But the fact that they know that this is gonna spread and they don't care, that tells us how brazen they've become, to where they're just like openly corrupt and shilling for these billionaires. And they genuinely don't care that people are gonna see that and react negatively to it. This is where we're at. This is late stage capitalism, folks, where everything has become commodified, including democracy itself. This is what it looks like.
But Mike, they also know there's not gonna be a consequence for it.
True.
I mean, where's the consequence? And especially since right wingers control the Supreme Court. Right wingers control most of the state legislatures and governors' mansions in the country. The Congress very well may flip. And having Joe Manchin, people like Joe Manchin and Sinema in there, they might as well, they Republican light as hell. And then you got a few other Democrats hiding behind them. See, so they don't have to be put out there like that because they can hide behind Sinema and Manchin. So we definitely got a problem on our hands. This is real. And so since Senator Manchin said those things, we need to use him as an example. Check out this headline because he knows what he's talking about because he's one of them. Manchin has raked in $400,000 in fossil fuel donations. Yeah, you heard it, folks. And that's why he's doing their bidding. That's why he was able to slip stuff into bills. Not just slip it, I mean, just do it in broad open daylight for the coal industry. Senator Joe Manchin took in more than $400,000 from fossil fuel interests in recent months as he fought his colleagues' plans to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the electricity sector. A number of fossil fuel executives also gave Manchin at least $5,000 each, including ConocoPhillips CEO Ryan Lance and his wife Lisa. This is real. And it's clear that Manchin's quid pro quo with CEOs have left the great people of Virginia, of West Virginia rather, just fending for themselves because they really don't have anybody looking out for them. He looks out for his owner donors. And far too many of these politicians look out for their owner donors. And look, Mike and I, we get it. You gotta raise money to run a campaign. Trust, I get it. I've ran many races, I've helped many a candidate. You need money for the mission. But what you do not need is the folks who have the greatest amount of money thinking that they can own you just because they have the greatest amount of money. And then for all of these elected officials who won't even take the time to raise small dollar donations because they don't want to have to answer to you. There is a presidential candidate, I'm old enough to remember, Mike, in 2016, ran for the highest office of the land and showed people very clearly that you actually can raise grassroots dollars and be competitive. He did do that twice. I'm sighing today. I try not to do it, but these people are just sending me. They sending me there.